Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from the AAMP.TV mobile studios at Auburn University, right here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Yes, that's AAMP.TV. This segment brought to you in part by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning, even contracts given to people they don't understand, plus a whole lot more. For more information, contact Legal Shield at 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Again, 213-245-1305. Or check them out online for more information at nocourt.us. That's nocourt.us. Special announcement real quick. This is back in Las Vegas. We're on KIOF, Las Vegas Public Radio, 97.9 FM. Special message for the folks back in Las Vegas, or folks, if you're traveling to Las Vegas, there's a kind of a special event. We want to give a nice shout out to the Las Vegas Rescue Mission. They say, join us for our 9th annual Walk a Mile event, Saturday, October 20th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Again, that's the Las Vegas Rescue Mission. Join them for the 9th annual Walk a Mile event. And a big round of applause for them doing some good for the community. Yes! All right. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, from Boston down to Atlanta to Auburn, right here in Auburn, over to Mississippi, Louisiana, KFNV 107.1 The River, and to all of our friends over in Honolulu and Los Angeles. Thanks for joining us right here from the top of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL, since we're sitting in a football stadium, and quite a few greats from Auburn University have made their way into the National Football League. Let's talk a little bit about the NFL ratings as they continue to plummet. Now, this is according to Yahoo Sports. They say, here's the fun thing about the NFL. Suddenly, wobbly television ratings. A wobbly television rating in the first place is just funny to even think of. Now, they can say whatever they want them to, but believe me, the NFL's newfound activism has turned the country against it. It sure seems that way. Has it? Now, sure, very well, that may be true. Now, wondering whether anyone can focus on football with all this nonsense going on, hey, that's valid too. Now, here's what's indisputable. The NFL ratings are down. I mean, they are down to an ugly, low degree. And I mean ugly and low. Now, let's go back to the Thursday night football. Now, that was down a ridiculous, imagine this, 70%. 70% from last year. 1 year ago, the ratings were 70% higher. I mean, wrap your head around that. Sonar, think about this. I'm going to drag you in as the reluctant sports broadcaster for a moment. If you lost 7 out of every 10 viewers, how in the world are you supposed to advertise to people when you've got nobody to advertise to in the first place?
They're going away. The only thing you could be advertising is running shoes while they're leaving.
I know. It's unbelievable. And, certainly, I mean, look, only 5 million people watched the Broncos and Jets. But let's face it. Are you going to go out of your way to watch the Broncos and Jets in the first place?
No. And even then, the top grossing show, sitcom, whatever, doesn't usually go over 3.5 million anyway. And a lot of that is because of digital shows and digital networks like ours. We have taken over a lot of that. I mean, you look at back in maybe the 1990s when ER was around and Grey's Anatomy was just coming up. They had the same 5 million every week going and going and going. Right. You have to now have a super event to break 4 million. Or
you just have to have an event that happens to be super. Yeah. Maybe not a gigantic one, right?
A super event. There you go.
See what I did there? That's pretty clever. But yeah, being down 70% from the prior year. I mean, that's an NFL network issue, whatever. But who in the world is really, I mean, look, on a national basis, down here in Alabama, I happen to believe that not a lot of people will probably care about the Broncos and Jets. Over in Louisiana, I think they're a little more concerned about the New Orleans Saints and the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, something tells me that's probably the case. And maybe down in, down in New Mexico, we have an audience over there. Well, maybe they might be interested in the Denver Broncos. All right. But now, if you look at New Mexico, now we're broadcasting over in Santa Fe, the greater Santa Fe market, right, from Los Alamos. Remember the Manhattan Project, right? Remember that, the whole nuclear or whatever? Well, that's one of our new areas now. In fact, that's as of today. Yes, on Comcast Cable Channel 24. You can catch us every Wednesday at 2:30. So anyway, thinking about the ratings as they drop off, look, the big one, I think, is Sunday Night Football, because, right, that's kind of like the big night game after the whole day. That's like supposed to be the icing on the cake. And that even took a deep dive down to 37%. It fell 37% from last year. And that's kind of a big deal. But think about a week ago. What they have? San Francisco, a beat-up San Francisco team playing Philadelphia. Of course, lots of injuries on both sides of the ball. And these are not the two teams that we know them to be. But guess what? It's Sunday Night Football, and it's the only game in town at that hour. But that's a really big deal. If there's a really big red flag, I think it's Sunday Night Football. Now, if you look at the CBS doubleheader, that also saw really big declines. Of course, with premium matchups, that's a big deal. You have the Chargers and the Bucks. Now, that tumbled 32%. 32. And, of course, the late game, Buffalo and Las Vegas, that being the Las Vegas Raiders. Look, another really good matchup. Hard to say Buffalo, good matchup, but nowadays, anybody Buffalo plays, I would say, is must-see TV at this point. And that was even down 6%. So we even over on Fox Television, we had the same issue. Look, they had Cleveland, Dallas, which I thought was probably the most exciting game, even though it was a comedy of errors on one team, and we won't say which one. We'll let you guess which one it was. But we'll say that you had a really good Cleveland-Dallas game, and I thought that one was very exciting. That would keep most anybody at the edge of their seat if they're a football fan. Well, guess what? Those guys had only a small uptick. Only 2% they went up. And I'd say Cleveland Browns football today is must-see TV. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They are jumping in, and it's almost like the Howard Stern kind of, let's see what they do next. Let's see. I want to be there when they do it. But I think the decline is because sports like this are a social event. I mean, yeah, we all like to sit around in our underwear and watch a game in the morning. I mean, that's the whole reason why college football plays in Saturday mornings anyway. Because I mean, we grown up and maybe we watch flip it between the cartoons during the commercials. But it's a social event, so you go to a place, you go to a bar, you go to a friend's house, you go somewhere. Or you're out and about, and the only thing you can think about is, okay, I got to get home so I can watch the game. Correct. There's an excitement about going and watching the game and being part of it and talking about it with other people. And I think because the social decline and the social distancing has affected everything, I think it's the same way that's being affected by the sports and the viewership is being affected, because you're not going to the bar and watching it anymore, and you're not going to somebody's house and watching a fight or watching a game or having a beer with a buddy. And really the hype behind the sport is starting to lack. We didn't have a preseason in football. That's usually the whole walk-up round of like, hey, these guys are going to be good this year. That guy's going to be bad this year. Now we're 4 games in, and we finally get through the preseason, and we can all start realizing what to expect in the upcoming games.
Right, with 400 injuries league-wide, or 480, whatever the heck it is, some huge number in the National Football League, and a lack of fans in the seats. Well, let's face it, right here at Jordan-Hare Stadium on the campus of Auburn University, we've seen an empty stadium. In fact, I'm sitting right in the stadium right now. Of course, we had to kind of wiggle our way in here. But at the same time, the stadium looks empty for everybody watching on television. But during the game, look, over the weekend, what are they going to have? They're going to have Pig Suey's going to be in town. You're going to see the University of Arkansas coming off of a very nice win over Mississippi State. They're going to be in town, and there's going to probably be, I'm going to guess, maybe 15,000 people here, 12, 15, 18,000 people. And they will be spread out, distanced out, I suppose. And very few media credentials are given out, only because, number one, they've got to make sure the beat writers, all the local beat writers, this is what I got right from the athletic department here from media relations. They said, even for myself to get media credentials, it's going to be difficult because I'm not one of the local beat writers, although the Sports Circus does air on WAUD right here on AM 1230 in Auburn, Alabama. That is home of the Atlanta Braves, the playoff Major League Baseball playoffs, Atlanta Braves. So we'll see if we can wiggle our way into the stadium for Saturday's game against the University of Arkansas. It'll be one hell of a game. And it's always fun to be right here at Jordan-Hare Stadium with all these fine folks down here in Auburn. All right, folks, back here in a few minutes on the Circus. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere.
This is an urgent health notice. All residents suffering from back pain. You may qualify for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare. Simply call the Health Alert Hotline now. The Health Alert Hotline is your back brace company. These specialized braces have been thoroughly tested for pain relief. Call us toll-free right now to determine your eligibility. Don't wait. The deadline is fast approaching. The call just takes a few minutes, and we will handle all of the Medicare paperwork. Back braces have helped thousands of people just like you get relief from their back pain and return to living their lives to the fullest, enjoying activities they thought they might never be able to experience again. Find out if you're eligible to receive a pain-relieving back brace. Make sure to have your Medicare card ready when you call. Call us right now.
800-223-7902. 800-223-7902. 800-223-7902. That's 800-223-7902.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you start up with capital, business strategy, sales, and marketing, and establish your company with a physical location or an online presence on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea. Then American Business Trust can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com. Or call them at 657-600-1876. That's American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They'll help your business right away. That's American Business Trust Company. Online at abtrustco.com. American Business Trust Company.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. You've got to remember to do your testing, and you always need to be sticking your fingers. The new way to live your life with diabetes is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body, and it continuously monitors your glucose levels, helping you spend more time in range and freeing you from painful finger pricks. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day, or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call U.S. Medical Supply today for a free benefits check. We offer free shipping, 90-day supplies, and we bill Medicare or your insurance directly. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-854-3183. 800-854-3183. 800-854-3183. That's 800-854-3183.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from the AAMP.TV mobile studio operations. This time we're sitting inside Jordan-Hare Stadium over in Auburn, Alabama. That's Jordan-Hare Stadium, folks, the home of War Eagle and the Auburn Tigers. Big round of applause for those guys. Looking for that eagle above us. Not seeing it just yet, but something tells me it's going to be flying around here over the weekend against the University of Arkansas. That ought to be a lot of fun. All right, folks, this segment is brought to you by Safely Spend. An important message quickly for consumers and business owners and managers as well. For information on the best high-speed internet, satellite TV, cell phone service, identity protection, home and business security, and automation, credit card processing, plus savings on electricity and gas bills, contact Safely Spend at 702-799-9935. That's for information on smart savings for homes and businesses. Contact safelyspend.com at 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935, or check them out online at safelyspend.com or email them at info@safelyspend.com. All right, and a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, everybody streaming at YouTube. Make sure you subscribe as well. And a big hello to everybody else on Hotel Television, those over in Santa Fe, the greater Santa Fe, New Mexico market, over on Comcast Channel 24, as well as everybody else on our TV stations, including even our friends on 97.9 FM, Magic 97.9 FM over in Las Vegas. Welcome back. Continuing on with the NFL, and now the NFL has threatened teams with game forfeitures for COVID-19 violations. Yeah, you heard that right. Game forfeitures. That's a big deal. Now, a week after the league threatened teams with the loss of draft picks for violating safety measures, the NFL announced that protocols, yes, breaks could cost teams wins. Imagine if you're one of those teams and you're 4-0. Let's just say you're the Seattle Seahawks. You're 4-0. Well, guess what? Now you've got a problem on your hands. What if you're the Kansas City Chiefs? You're 4-0. Well, guess what? Don't break protocol because the NFL's cracking down. Now, the NFL memo promises harsh penalties. A league memo sent just recently reiterated the fact that draft picks are at stake and the violations that require schedule adjustments could result in game forfeitures. Quote, protocol violations that result in viral spread requiring adjustments to schedule or otherwise impacting other teams will result in additional financial and competitive discipline, including the adjustment or loss of draft choices or even the forfeit of a game, the memo reads. Now, simply put, compliance is mandatory. Now is the time to recommit ourselves to our protocols and best practices for the duration of the season. Now, the memo also outlines new measures intended to mitigate exposure at team facilities, including limited on free agent tryouts as well. So guess what, folks? If you've got somebody that's coming off the practice squad or off of the outside and you haven't been a part of where the team is on a regular basis, now they're going to limit potentially those tryouts. That's kind of a big deal with all the injuries that have been going around for the first 4 weeks of the NFL season. That's a big deal because I think there's been about 500 injuries, of which I believe 85 were either knee or ankle related. And I mean, could you attribute that to having no exhibition games? Because usually there's 4 preseason games. I don't know about that. But nonetheless, let's move forward. So they're going to include limits on free agent tryouts, bans on teams gatherings away from the facility, and video surveillance of facilities and teams travel to monitor protocols like wearing the mask are followed. So now the memo arrived just a week marred by the COVID-19 outbreaks, continued violations, and protocols. And so you got to watch out, folks. There's some things going on with your favorite football teams that you may not agree with. I mean, look, if they refuse to follow the directives of the National Football League and Roger Goodell, everybody's favorite figure. Let's put it that way. Everyone's favorite figure from the National Football League. Let's leave it like that. Like, you're going to have some penalties. And look, at the end of the day, we also have these strengthened mask rules from the NFL, which is the these COVID-19 protocols amid the breakouts, what they're saying now, according to the NFL, after several small outbreaks across the league, the NFL is once again strengthening that protocol. Now, this goes beyond. This is a mask thing. Now, the NFL sent out those new safety protocols that we just mentioned, but there's also going to be an update on the mask rule. Now, one of the biggest changes has to do with mask usage, something some coaches have struggled with so far. You may remember the Las Vegas Raiders, John Gruden had that issue among a couple of other guys. Now, the league strengthened its mask rules and prohibited the use of gator masks with valves or vents, and face shields as team facilities. So at team facilities, guess what? You can't use these. Surgical masks are preferred. Now, coaches in the league, of course, said in the memo, can still wear gator masks on the field during games. Now, face shields, like Andy Reid's from the Chiefs, he likes to wear the face shield, kind of like the welder's mask version, right? Well, guess what? That appears now to be off limits completely. Yes, a moment of silence. And then the round of boos. I can't imagine why. Because if the mask is supposed to stop the droplets or spittle, call it what you will, right? What you're telling people, being the league, is that apparently a full shield over the face doesn't cut it. Now we're going to go back to these surgical masks when it says very clearly on the box, it's crystal clear in black and white, that it does not protect against coronavirus or COVID. All right. So, but apparently the shields that actually stop everything from transmitting from person to person as far as trajectiles, if you will. So you can't spray upon somebody like I'm probably spraying into this microphone right now. I'm surprised the whole camera is not sprayed with all kinds of droplets and whatnot. But apparently that's not good enough. I mean, come on, folks. If this was really this big issue, don't you think everybody would be wearing hazmat suits, especially the people that are testing? Don't you think there'd be a little bit more to this? Not so, apparently. Now, several coaches were fined after week 2 of the season for not wearing their mask correctly. All right, so is it wearing a mask or wearing a shield? Seems like the shield would be a little bit more effective, but moving on. Now, and of course, as we mentioned about John Gruden being the, quote, worst offender. Now, he was technically wearing his face diaper around his chin instead of over his mouth and nose. So, yeah, he was just kind of doing it for show, which is, I don't know, kind of ridiculous to imagine. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So the league handed out almost $2 million in fines in week 2, and of course has since threatened to punish teams with the draft picks and possible forfeitures, etc. Now, another new rule. Teams are required to have at least 5 buses for travel, and teams need to keep surveillance cameras and footage for at least a month in order for the league to ensure protocol compliance. Now, players and staff have to sit 10 feet apart now while eating at the team's facilities, and groups of more than 3 people are prohibited from meeting outside of team activities for any reason. Let me ask you a question, folks. It's just a rhetorical question. If that were the case, how were they even allowed to play football? Because they can't spread themselves out 10 feet apart. And they're sweating, and there's droplets, and there's stuff being transmitted apparently from player to player. But guess what? They don't have to wear a mask. They don't have to wear a shield. What are we talking about here? So what you're seeing is no shield for Andy Reid as being a coach. But the players are shoulder to shoulder, sweating and dripping upon one another, tackling each other, getting stuff and sweat and whatnot all over one another, because that's what football does, right? That's what happens. And guess what? Apparently, these players have to sit 10 feet apart from each other while eating. Now, that absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. And I think the entire protocol needs to be blown up. It makes no sense. Now, the new protocols come near what appears to be the end of the league's first alleged coronavirus outbreak. Now, of course, the Tennessee Titans didn't play in week 4 due to the so-called major outbreak, which saw 10 players and 10 staffers supposedly test positive for the alleged virus in the first place. And the Patriots and Chiefs each had players land on the COVID-19 reserve list, which delayed their game by a single day. But yet it was delayed, and it did follow up the betting world. And so we know Vegas is involved, so the bets are going to continue one way or another. And of course, the Vikings shut down their practice facility for several days after learning of the Titans' so-called outbreak just hours after their matchup. Now, though the NFL's new protocols won't curb the spread of the alleged virus completely, that's nearly impossible to do outside of a true bubble environment. This is the reason we had the questions on Major League Baseball, which we would talk about in a later segment. And of course, the stricter rules will certainly help teams be able to finish the season safely. And what is safely? Get into that in a moment. And of course, if they don't follow the new rules, the league has shown it's not afraid to crack down. Quickly, we think about safely. The word safely. Look, if it wasn't safe in the first place, why would the sports be being played? Period. If it wasn't safe, because why would they endanger the lives of hundreds and hundreds of athletes, thousands of athletes across the 4 major sports if it wasn't safe in the first place? That's the question we all need to be asking ourselves. And on top of it, the baseball games are played outside. Players don't have to wear any mask. The coaches don't necessarily have to wear any mask in the dugout. And there's no crackdown on that. Why is it that way in football? I want to know that. Can somebody please answer the question? info@thesportcircus.com, info@thesportcircus.com, or go to AAMP.TV, AAAMP.TV, and send your reply, because I have to tell you, I'm remarkably confused, and I think the whole thing is a big steaming pile of cow dung. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportcircus.com. That's info@thesportcircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
This is a time-sensitive message from the Back Pain Relief Hotline. Millions of people across the nation are suffering from back pain. Are you? Are you on Medicare? Is it hard to walk, to bend over, or even do simple things? Well, we have great news. If you are on Medicare, you could qualify to receive a pain-relieving back brace. We'll handle all the Medicare paperwork if you qualify and ship your new back brace right to your door. Make sure you have your Medicare card ready, and please call us right now and get all the details. It only takes a few minutes. Imagine doing everything you used to do before your back pain. With your Medicare card ready, call the Back Pain Relief Hotline today. Call now.
800-223-7902. 800-223-7902. 800-223-7902. That's 800-223-7902. Paid for by the Health Alert Hotline.
Yes, I'm Master Sal, live from Jordan-Hare Stadium in the AAMP.TV mobile studios. Actually, our facilities, because we can't bring the glass bubble inside the stadium, but they're sitting right outside the stadium here on the campus of Auburn University. That's Jordan-Hare Stadium, folks. What a glorious, glorious location. All right, this segment brought to you in part by Kelly Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk shows. Kelly Vegas can help them from everything they need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic or sitting around the house reinventing yourself and trying to figure out what your next move is. For more information on how to create your very own talk show from your very own home studio, contact Kelly Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119, or check them out online for more information at calivegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. All right, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on Magic 97.9 FM over in Las Vegas, WAUD right here in Auburn, 107.1 The River over in Natchez, Mississippi, CBS Sports 1500 KHKA over in Honolulu, KCAA, our NBC News, CNBC Financial, and Associated Press affiliate, as well as our friends down at CBS Sports KSIX down in South Texas. Big hello to our friends over in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM, and all the way up in Boston, our friends on WBNW. That would be 1120 and 102.9 FM. Thanks for joining us, as well as everybody else streaming on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, as well as everybody else watching on television in Santa Fe, the greater Santa Fe, New Mexico, Tampa, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Cincinnati, Detroit. We're everywhere, folks. You can't get away from us. And that's the Sports Circus. We're even in hotel rooms from coast to coast, too. All right, a big round of applause for that ridiculous, long-winded intro. And, of course, for our sponsor, our read. We have to call it a read, our information read. That would be from Kelly Vegas. All right, sticking with the NFL for just a moment here. There's always drama, right? We have drama. Sonar, we know about drama. I mean, it's kind of the drama of being on a submarine, something you'd know about. Being on a submarine, and oh, by the way, we happen to have what? We have life jackets. What is the point?
I mean, we were talking about how it's essentially just lip service. It's to make your mom feel better, and we've seen this with the NFL before with the concussion protocols. I mean, have they even gone down? Have they? I mean, all of that data is up in the air as well. I mean, because if you really wanted to stop concussions or measure concussions, there's accelerometers and a whole bunch of things you can put on a helmet.
Hey, that's a big word for the Raider fans. What's an accelerometer?
Oh, an accelerometer. It's a meter that tells you how fasty you were going. So,
kind of like a speedometer. This is for the Raider fans. It's that pedal you push on the right side that tells, and you look at your dash, it tells you kind of how fast you're going.
Exactly. Yeah, when you go from 0 to 60 and it's just boom real fast, and then you get in your grandpa's jalopy and it is not as fast. That's less acceleration. It's not as much force being moved. So do
you think that this generation knows what a jalopy is?
A jalopy? I don't know. Maybe a lemon. They might know what a lemon is. Maybe not a jalopy. I always think about those big Buicks that are like boats.
Okay, so here's something. Here's a little bit of Chicago trivia for you. All right, so my hometown, and I know you're producing the AAMP.TV content from where? From Chicagoland. All right, and so there's a commercial on TV. There's this one. It's an old commercial from like 1975 or something like that. And it's from some company, I think it's called Victory Auto Wreckers, right? And Victory Auto Wreckers, it has a video of this guy dressed in 1970s clothing, 1970s hair, the whole thing. And he's going to open the door on this old beater green car. I don't know what it was. But when he pulls the door, yes, the door comes off the hinges. So you pull it out, there goes the door. Oh no, get rid of this car. Get out of here. All right, so have you seen that commercial on TV? Dude, that's been running on TV, regular over-the-air TV for 50 years in Chicago. But Right, I remember that. Yeah, but see, the reason I bring that up with that auto wrecking company is because that is a jalopy. So when I said, do you think the people of this generation would know? Do you think the people from even Generation Z or the millennials, do you think they're going to know what a jalopy is? They can't even sign their own name, which is hilarious because cursive is not being taught in schools these days, which is completely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Did you just sign your name with an X? How does I have a full-blown signature in cursive. I learned how to write in cursive when I was in first grade, right? Because we had to do the print letters and then also be able to write it in cursive, right? And move on from there. And why am I talking about jalopies and garbage? Well, because guess what? We have more garbage, and this time it's from the LA Rams. And the LA Rams, and we'll just throw in the New York Giants, which really they should be called the New Jersey Giants. Now, the whole Jalen Ramsey issue, there's a big brawl, whatever, the Rams, Giants, et cetera, et cetera. Boy, talk about family drama. Do we need this in football? Now, family tension between the Rams, Jalen Ramsey, and the Giants, Golden Tate, may have led to a brawl involving their teams just this past weekend. Now, of course, the two have been feuding off the field since Ramsey broke up with Tate's sister. Are you kidding me? When she was pregnant with their second child. He's going to get a boo for that one. Yes. Okay, and that was just last summer. Now, it's according to the NFL and the New York Post. Why would the NFL and the New York Post engage in such ridiculousness? Now, here's a quote. I'm not happy at all with the disrespect that he's shown towards my sister and the things he's done in the past. Tate told the tabloid last October after Ramsey posted photos with his new girlfriend. Also that month, Tate posted a veiled thread about their next game against each other. Are you kidding me? This is an actual headline from the NFL, from the NFL.com and from the New York Post. This is stupid. So, of course, in Sunday's game, Ramsey's hard tackle of Tate in the fourth quarter may have lit the fuse for a physical confrontation after time expired with that 17-9 victory that very few people did watch, apparently. Of course, that's For the Win had noted this. Now, the two made eye contact and came to blows at the 50-yard line, the four-letter network had reported. A melee involving both teams had ensued. Maybe a couple of punches were thrown. Ramsey may have waited out for Tate outside the Giants' locker room, but for another go, possibly. Ultimately, there was no second round. And of course, the four-letter network had tweeted that in the first place. Now, neither player commented, blah, blah, blah. It's the same garbage in, garbage out. Why does this even matter? Why does the NFL network, or NFL.com, I should say, why do they report on it? Why are we talking about it? I don't know. The whole thing is just a gigantic dumpster fire. But here's something to think about. I kind of like this one. Now, you may identify with this also. Now, we think about those great coaching trees, right? You think of the great coaching trees and the great players, and they have tutelage under them. And the coaching trees, let's just take like the whole Bill Walsh thing, right, from the 49ers. Big coaching tree came out of that one, right? Yes, it did. All right. My question is, should the players and or coaches that come from a great system, and let's just go back to the Bill Walsh thing, right? Should they actually get paid, or should they, better yet, pay tribute to those players and coaches in which they got a little bit of tutelage from? And let's take it back to a reference from the movie Goodfellas, right? And so whenever there was a big score or whatever, if you know the movie, you had Ray Liotta and you had Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. They pulled their big jobs, right? And so who was the big boss in the neighborhood? That was Paulie Cicero, right? So, they paid Paulie tribute for every deal, whether it was an airplane heist or a bank robbery, whatever the hell they did. My point is, it's not about these robberies and crap. It's about getting paid tribute. So all those coaches that come from the great coaching trees, don't you think those coaches' salaries and those players that learn from these great players, how about them paying a little bit tribute to the people that they learn from? I would love to see that. Any thoughts on that, Sonar?
Well, you got to pay Paulie, man. Everybody needs to take their cut. Otherwise, Big Paulie comes down. See, that's it. You're paying for protection from the big guy. That's what you're protecting. It would be a shame if maybe some of these plates got broken, or maybe it'd be a shame if your tires were slashed when you woke up in the morning. That'd be terrible. You want to make sure you feed the top to make sure that those type of things don't happen to you.
Hey, listen. At the end of the day, if you're learning from somebody, if you're learning something from somebody and they have changed your life, what do you got to do? You got to pay the kitty. You got to do what's right. You got to pay a little tribute. You pay respect, and maybe you throw some money their way. And I think that those great players and coaches, and this is the reason I'm saying this, I'm going to leave this segment here, is look at all those players from yesteryear that didn't get paid a bunch of money. And what have they done? They trained a lot of these players that make mega millions of dollars. How about a little tribute back to the players and coaches that did the training and that shaped the careers of these multi-millionaires? That is a fantastic idea. Folks, back here in a few minutes on the Sports Circus. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you start up with capital, business strategy, sales, and marketing, and establish your company with a physical location or an online presence on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea. Then American Business Trust can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com. Or call them at 657-600-1876. That's American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They'll help your business right away. That's American Business Trust Company. Online at abtrustco.com. American Business Trust Company.
This is an urgent health notice. All residents suffering from back pain. You may qualify for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare. Simply call the Health Alert Hotline now. The Health Alert Hotline is your back brace company. These specialized braces have been thoroughly tested for pain relief. Call us toll-free right now to determine your eligibility. Don't wait. The deadline is fast approaching. The call just takes a few minutes, and we will handle all of the Medicare paperwork. Back braces have helped thousands of people just like you get relief from their back pain and return to living their lives to the fullest, enjoying activities they thought they might never be able to experience again. Find out if you're eligible to receive a pain-relieving back brace. Make sure to have your Medicare card ready when you call. Call us right now.
800-223-7902. 800-223-7902. 800-223-7902. That's 800-223-7902.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Remaster Sal, live from the AAMP.TV. We can't say mobile studio. This time we'll see the AAMP.TV facilities here at Jordan-Hare Stadium on the campus of Auburn University. That's AAMP.TV. Check them out, folks. This segment is brought to you by the Sports Circus. Make sure you check out thesportcircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, our podcast, as well as our partners. One of those partners is the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, and that's csncoyotes.com. Check them out for upcoming games and events. That's csncoyotes.com. The College of Southern Nevada, it's one of the, in my opinion, one of the best two-year schools in the nation today. And boy, did they really turn out some good talent in sports and in real life. Big round of applause for csncoyotes.com. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. And all those watching on television across the country, we'll just stop right there. All right, going to jump into a little bit of baseball here. And, of course, the playoffs are going on, and there's bad blood in every one of these series. We talked about it yesterday, and just going to touch a little bit upon the Marlins and the Braves. Now, we are on the Atlanta Braves radio network in Auburn, Alabama, right here in town. And that's WAUD. And I know that there's just been a little bit of bad blood between Ronald Acuna and Mr. Alcantara. That would be Sandy Alcantara. Now, the bad blood between the Braves and the Marlins is carried over to the postseason following the Braves' last win at 9-5. And I tell you what, the Marlins were really rolling, but guess what? Back come the Braves, and they come rumbling back and take the game away, kind of like taking candy away from a little kid. Well, guess what? Marlins pitcher Sandy Alcantara says he's ready and willing to fight Atlanta's superstar as the two-year feud reaches another boiling point. Now, Acuna, who homered leading off the game, started the commotion after taking exception to being drilled by Sandy Alcantara's 98-mile-an-hour fastball. His frustration wasn't just limited to, the previous game, to the opening game. Now, of course, MajorLeagueBaseball.com's reporters have noted Acuna has been hit twice as frequently by Marlins pitchers in comparison to all other Major League Baseball teams. That's kind of a big deal. Now, the bad blood dates back to 2018 when the Marlins pitcher Jose Urena was suspended 6 games for hitting Acuna with a pitch after he bat flipped a home run. We're going to talk about the bat flip in just a moment. Now, since then, Acuna has continued tormenting the Miami pitching. I'll tell you, this guy's just tearing them up. In 44 regular season games against the Marlins, he's smashed 17 home runs, hitting .318 against them, driving in all kinds of runs, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Acuna says, they have to hit me because they can't get me out. And he also added that on social media by throwing a gallon of gas on the fire. Now, in addition to his not-so-subtle Twitter dig at Marlins pitching, he posted on Instagram an image with the caption, quote, "I'd like to take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody," close quote. That, of course, if you know that one, that is Conor McGregor. So what are we really talking about here? Is this about sportsmanship? Why would you bat flip when there's nobody in the seats? First of all, why would you even bat flip? It's poor sportsmanship. Now, and I really appreciate a good, talented player when I see one, but as a former pitcher, I could tell you it's bad business to bat flip, period, let alone doing it when nobody's watching. Better yet, no fans are watching, and only the other team is watching. So therefore, that's like showing up to the fire with a gallon of gas and a matchbook saying, guess what? We're going to torch this place, and we're going to smoke you at the same time. We're going to let you know that we don't give a damn. And so this is exactly what's going on here with the Braves. Now, I know the Braves are a team with a lot of class, but this particular feud between these two players, I mean, look, all they're doing is making the matchup lose a little class. Now, I expect a lot from the Braves. The Braves, as a long-standing organization with a winning tradition, I would imagine that they would hold themselves a little bit higher. And as far as the Marlins goes, look, you just can't be drilling guys. I'm sorry. I mean, I understand. Look, if somebody gets out of line, as a former pitcher, I could tell you I was the guy that would be basically brought in to drill people. I know what that one looks like. But to bring this one-on-one duel onto the field where, let's face it, players can get suspended. The only reason that Acuna did not go out to the mound in this last beanball event was because he knew he was going to get thrown out. And good for him, and a big round of applause for him not taking the bait from Alcantara. But that feud should be left, really, at this point, off the field. If they want to get into a ring after the season, go ahead. Bare knuckle fight. Do what you got to do. Get it over with. But just leave it out of the damn game, because all it's doing is just putting a big blemish, in my opinion, on the game. It certainly doesn't help it. Now, Sonar, I know you watch a little bit of baseball from time to time in between your naps, in between innings, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to get your 8 hours, right?
Right. Okay. So what do you think about trying to show somebody up when there's nobody watching except the TV audience? Is that really good for the game?
There's always somebody watching. And TV audience is an audience too. And arguably more people watching on television than would even be in the stadiums to begin with. So, I mean, it's why call it the show if you're not going to be a showman?
Okay. All right. I'll buy that. In fact,
I mean,
we'll give you
that's the way I look at it. Is
a very brief round of applause.
Oh, well, thank you. 3 claps, please.
There you go. That was very brief.
So that's what I mean. Is you have to go into it. I mean, it's the same thing with the NFL when you celebrate, excessive celebration. You have that. It can be excessive, absolutely. I have a full chorus line show up and dancers and streamers and everything else happen, right. Sure. But if I hit a home run, I should at least be able to do something other than smile and walk casually. I mean, it is a show. We are watching. I'm not just watching baseball stats happen in front of me. I'm here for entertainment. If I wanted to watch just stats, I would just sit here and wait for the dun-na-na every single time.
Oh boy. All right. Well, and hey, listen, the beauty of the Sports Circus is, look, we don't have sports writers like the 4-Letter Network or the other networks that we had talked about previously. But I believe in an open forum. You have an opinion, that's cool. And all the listeners and all the viewers, we all have the same. We have an opinion. And so, look, I'm a fan of the Braves. In fact, my family, I have a family member that played for 10 years for the Boston Braves, mind you. That was, back in the 1940s. Check him out. His name was Phil Macy, M-A-S-I. He's an all-star catcher for the Boston Braves. So I have some allegiance to the Braves, just like my uncle played for the Brooklyn Dodgers back in the day. I have a little allegiance to them, but more so with the Braves because, well, let's face it, 10 years versus a cup of coffee, I think the 10 years kind of works. So I have allegiance to the Braves, but at the same time, I want to see professionalism on the field. I mean, look, they're professionals. They're not 12 years old playing a game where they're saying, hey, bada, 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 bada. You don't see these guys on TV doing that, and you don't hear them doing it from the seats either. That's because that's Little League stuff, right? And even when they're going up to catch a pop-up, and they're not saying clank when the ball's about to hit the mitt, right? It's the same idea. So you're not seeing, that's like Bush League baseball. You've heard about that at some point, right? So I have to look at this as being unprofessional on both team sides, and I expect a little bit more out of the Atlanta Braves. And of course, I hope that they move on and find themselves in the World Series. I think that'd be fantastic. But I want to see some professionalism, and I know McGurk feels the same way probably about his team too. So let's just hope the best for the Atlanta Braves. And guess what? Maybe they'll play the Houston Astros. Now, the Houston Astros, why do we talk about the Astros? Look, the Astros are making their way right back there. That's what they're doing. And by the way, all of our listeners down in South Texas on the Astros radio network, you can appreciate this as well. But here, the Astros actually get a chance to kind of erase the blemish that happened in the offseason with the whole scandal garbage. But look, the Astros top to bottom, in my opinion, are the best team in the American League. There's no question. It's just weird still saying Astros American League after, of course, its birth of the National League and then its conversion over. But, I mean, there's a real possibility to see the Astros and the Braves in the World Series. I don't give the Yankees much of a chance against the Astros because, frankly, the Astros are good from top to bottom, just like the Braves. Now, look, if they can get past the Dodgers, hey, hallelujah to that. And the Dodgers are good, but the Dodgers don't have the pen that the Houston Astros have, or better yet, the pen that the Atlanta Braves have. See if I can get this right. So I'm thinking the Braves and the Astros in the World Series, I think that'd be fantastic for the audience. But at the same time, it would give the Houston Astros a chance to vindicate themselves from all the chaos from this past season or this past offseason. Now, here's another note here for Major League Baseball. Now, former Major League Baseball pitcher wanted in connection with a shooting death of his ex-girlfriend was actually found dead. Now, former Major League Baseball pitcher Charles Hager, wanted by the police in connection with the shooting death of his ex-girlfriend in Phoenix, was found dead recently. Now, he died of self-inflicted gunshot wound at the Grand Canyon, police said in a statement. According to Sergeant Ben Hoster, a Scottsdale Police Department spokesman, Hager's body was discovered on a trail along the south rim of the Grand Canyon in northern Arizona. Authorities had probable cause to arrest the 37-year-old former pitcher, or better yet, the former player, on suspicion of murder and aggravated assault. Hager's unoccupied vehicle was found in Flagstaff. Now, Scottsdale police reportedly responded to a call of shots fired at the woman's residence after her roommate heard gunfire and witnessed Hager coming out of the woman's bedroom with a gun. Hager then pointed the gun at a man and was able to get to a neighbor's house and call 911. So there's a problem. There's a problem. Guess what? And he fixed his own problem. Taking the life is ridiculous. First of all, taking the life of another person is wrong. But at the same time, then he goes and kills himself, which for all those people that do those kinds of horrible things, guess what? When people commit suicide, what are they doing? They're actually cheating everybody else in their life of them being in their lives. So not to end it in a downer, but I have to tell you, life happens off the field as well. So when you take these demonstrations by players, these bat flips, these beans, these other things, and they kind of mar the game from time to time. And then you say, well, you know what? Maybe we're going to have a brawl outside the stadium or something. And then it goes from bad to worse. And then something even worse happens. Guess what, folks? It's a game. Stick with the game. You're a player. Be a player. Don't be a moron. That's for sure. So outside of that, I have to tell you, that is the worst type of a story that you can actually hear because the lives of so many are affected. And oh, by the way, the players with those organizations are also affected. We think of the death with Tyler Skaggs and the Los Angeles Angels. Same sort of situation. Well, guess what, folks? We're not going to have that discussion anymore because we are out of here. And I hope you enjoyed the Sports Circus today. We had our highs and lows, but guess what? At the end of the day, we blow it up, and that's how it goes here on the Circus. Until next time, we'll see you right here on your favorite station. So long, everyone.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.